Mm. Okay. Good enough. See my head? Whatever. Yo, yo. What is good, everybody? I'm changing my title a little bit. It is the Godfather of VR gaming, the Ageless Wonder. Your boy Lincoln Clay coming back at you with another video. Another road trip video because I need to knock out a few things. I gotta go pay a couple of bills and then go get a prescription filled. So, killing two birds with one stone again. So I elected to change my intro a little bit because, as pointed out by Sick Humor, I'm dropping the crumb side as part of my title intro, because as Sick put it, I am beyond the crumb side when it comes to VR gaming. And I think the other thing that I want to mention, I don't know if I mentioned it in the last video or not, in an effort to be more, let me see, you know what, let me just turn this off. Let me just turn it off. Because I forgot the last video I made, I forgot to turn the fan off. And there was a lot of noise. Okay. Alright, so you guys gonna hear some alerts because this car has like a info panel. So it's like constantly monitoring shit, and every time you hear something, I get a beep notification, whatever you want to call it. So anyway, as I was going to say, in an effort to be a little more active on my Twitch channel, these videos, I'm going to try to upload them to both YouTube and Twitch. So if you don't see it on YouTube, you can catch it on Twitch. So with that being said, let's get down to it. Today, I officially admit that I eat crow on my November 2019 PS5 prediction. Today we got official word from Jim Ryan himself that the PS5 launches holiday 2020, along with some other reveals about the controller and that kind of stuff. You guys know about all that stuff, so I don't need to get into the details about that because, I mean, it spread like wildfire today, so I'm basically late to the party. The only reason why I'm even making this video is to admit that I was wrong about my prediction. But I had every reason to believe that it would launch in November of 2019. Because when rumors first started coming out about Xbox Scarlet and all these 15 other consoles that Microsoft was supposed to be manufacturing, as well as the PS5, Microsoft and Sony were still competing, even though it was, Now that I did not like. Okay. Well, we'll proceed as usual. You guys gonna hear some occasional chimes, all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, Microsoft and Sony was still competing, even though, as far as I was concerned, the console war was still long over because back when Microsoft stopped revealing NPD numbers, I mean, that was a telling blow as far as I'm concerned. But Microsoft still hadn't given up yet in my mind. Now, instead of trying to outsell Sony, now they're trying to beat Sony by trying to tear down the console, by saying our console can do this, theirs can't. And then you had Microsoft starting the smear campaign with the crossplay, trying to destroy single player games, saying nobody's playing those anymore, all kinds of stuff. So they were still competing with Sony back then. They hadn't given up yet. So my belief was that Microsoft and Sony were going to be involved in another foot race to try to get the consoles out first, because that's what happened this generation. That's what happened last generation. Microsoft and Sony back in 2005 were in a foot race to get their consoles out, and the 360 came out first. And you know, there's a whole bunch of stuff that people are saying as to why the PS5 didn't come out until the next year. I truly believe that they waited till the next year to come out with the PS3 because the 360 came out first and it was $200 cheaper. So I think Sony decided to wait until the next year, November of 2006, when they would be the only ones out there and wouldn't be competing against anybody else. So you fast forward to 2013 and we got another foot race. You know, now Sony and Microsoft are breaking their backs to try to get the Xbox One and the PS4 out in front of each other. And the PS4, oh shit, took a wrong turn. The PS4, I think, came out a couple of weeks before the Xbox One. Oh boy, did I ever boo-boo there. Took a wrong turn. So, in any case, they were in a foot race in 2013. And with all the rumors that was popping up with PS5 and Xbox Scarlet, I was led to believe that they were still competing with each other to try to get out the blocks first. So I was led to believe that both Microsoft and Sony were competing with each other to try to get their consoles out first, because I had felt like that both companies believed that whoever got out the blocks first was going to have a leg up. So my original thought was that both Microsoft and Sony would probably like to wait until 2020 to release their consoles, but because they're trying to get a leg up on each other, somebody's going to put their console out in 2019, even if it's not ready. So that was my belief. Why that was my biggest belief, why it was going to come out in 2019. So I was wrong about that. But one thing I was right about, well, I'm not, I can't say that I'm right yet, because, you know, I'm led to believe that the PS5 is still going to come out, you know, in November 2020. They said holiday 2020, so I take that as November. So one thing that I kept sticking to, technically, I said that the console was going to come out in November of 2019. And I said if it doesn't come out in 2019, it's going to come out in November of 2020. But I'll own up to it, because since I stuck with 2019, I'll own up to it and say I was wrong. But one thing that I kept pointing out, though, you know, some people were predicting that the console was going to come out in March of 2020. And I'm like, no, whenever it comes out, 2019, 2020 is going to come out in the month of November, because the month of November is the common denominator between the PS3, the PS4, and the PS4 Pro. The PS3, I believe, came out in November of 2006. The PS4 came out in November of 2013. The PS4 Pro came out in November of 2016. So the month of November is the common denominator. So that's why I went with 2019, November of 2019. I believe that Microsoft and Sony were still in a foot race, because at that time that I was making that prediction, it looked like they were still competing with each other. And there's a part of me that believes that Sony was probably still aiming for November of 2019. But after Microsoft finally went ahead and waved the white flag and was like, we're not competing anymore, services is where we're going. We're going in the direction of subscription services. Sony was, maybe Sony was like, okay, they're not, since they went ahead and surrendered, we can take our time and release this console when we feel it's ready to be released. So I still do believe that when it looked like Microsoft and Sony were competing with each other, I still do believe it looked like it was in the cards for them to release the console in November 2019. So with that being said, I'm not going to try to throw a caveat on it. It was like, well, I also said November 2020, that I said November 2019. So I own it. I was wrong. A lot of it was wishful thinking. And another reason why a lot of it was wishful thinking was because of the limitations of the current PSVR. I do believe that anything that's holding back the current PSVR right now will not be an obstacle when the PS5 comes out. So that was another reason why there was wishful thinking on my part, because I'm like, hurry up and give us the PS5 so we can get, so we can get GT Sport with VR multiplayer and that kind of stuff. Hurry up and give us the PS5 so we can get better graphics on these PSVR games, that kind of stuff. So it was wishful thinking as well as a hypothesis of when the console was going to release. So, but that's great that we finally got a date. I give Sony credit for that, because now that you know when it's officially going to be released, you can start getting your money together for it. And as people like, Craig Harris pointed out, starting right here, right now, if you were to put aside like $10 a week, you'll have enough money tucked away to buy it when it comes out. So yeah, that's $40 a month. So yeah, if you got started right now, put away $10 a week, you'll have enough money to buy it when it comes out. Whoopsie. So that's gonna do it for me. Last thing before I go. I'm gonna try to set up a Discord, because ever since ever since YouTube got rid of Google Hangouts, I have not done any kind of podcast where I had a guest on. And so in order to do that, I'll probably have to use this Yard Stream or whatever it's called, or use Discord. So I'm gonna work on getting that set up. And once I do get it set up, I'm gonna do a live podcast from Twitch, where my guest will be J-Dub, also known as Kratos, aka the god of PlayStation and all things Sony. He is definitely a tech guy. Doing pretty well for himself, and it's always a pleasure to listen to his insight on the tech industry. So keep your eyes open for that. I'll keep you guys up to speed. And with that being said, I'm pulling into Walmart right now, so it's time to start tying up these loose ends. I don't think I've got anything on the docket today. So I guess when I get home, I guess maybe I'll do one or two things. I'll either pull out the Lexus and go do a little bit of joy riding, or I might play something on Oculus. I don't know. I might see about joining my son on VR chat. He absolutely loves that VR chat. I dare say now that my son probably plays VR more than flat screen games now. I mean, he don't really mess around with Gears 5 that much even anymore, even though I had created that monster. And now it's like whenever he plays flat screen games, he either plays Roblox, Minecraft, or go back to like the older Call of Duty games from last generation. So, but yeah, he's more and more involved in VR. So anyway, that's gonna do it for me. Let me get on out of here. Let me go in here and take care of business. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see y'all in a little while. I'm out of here. Deuces.